Prime Minister number 10 come out with an updated statement, let's put it that way, saying that after all, having refused to say so all day long, that the Prime Minister did believe that what Frank Hester said was racist. Now, that basically was obviously a slap in the face to all the cabinet ministers, people like Mel Stride, other ministers as well, who had been sent out all day armed with the line to take, the completely untenable line to take. They were just being good foot soldiers, doing as they were told. They probably knew that it was all ridiculous, but they kind of, collective responsibility. You have to do these things. They were made to look like complete fools. And frankly, it's happened all over again today. And this is why this story is bigger than just the very important questions around race that it has posed and the Conservative Party's attitudes towards racial questions. It is about the Prime Minister's judgment and number 10's political ability, as we were saying yesterday, to stick to a line, to see the way that the political wind is blowing, see the evolution of a story that is absolutely guaranteed and completely predictable. As Gavin Barwell told us yesterday, former Chief of Staff to Theresa May, this isn't a difficult one. You could see which way this was going. And their failure to do that and failure to be able to handle the politics around it is making the Conservative MPs who haven't already given up despairing again. And the latest line that they've sent ministers out this morning to say is that we're not going to give back the £10 million, despite the fact that we believe that the Frank Hester comments were racist, because he showed contrition, right? The Prime Minister said this in PMQs today: the alleged comments were wrong, they were racist, and he has rightly apologised for them, and that remorse should be accepted. There is no place for racism in Britain, and the government I lead is living proof of that. Powerful words, or at least they would be, if indeed Frank Hester had accepted that what he said was racist. As we were saying on the show yesterday, we should have more room for apology in Britain. We should have more room for forgiveness. These are important qualities. But in order to be forgiven and in order to show contrition, you have first got to accept that what you said was wrong and why. And thus far, all Mr Hester has said is that the comments basically were rude and inappropriate. And that not only has he not accepted that the comments were racist, he has actually refuted the idea that they were racist and gave a pretty spurious set of justifications as to why. So once again, Rishi Sunak has sent his ministers out with a line that, to be honest, is a lie, or at the very least is deeply misleading. Because the contrition that they are saying Mr Hester has shown, he has not shown. Now, this was a point that was brought up in Prime Minister's questions by the SNP's Westminster leader, Stephen Flynn, who has called the comments bloody dangerous.
The Conservative Party have accepted a £10 million donation from an individual who has said that one of our parliamentary colleagues in this chamber should be shot. Why is the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom putting money before morals?
Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, as I said, the comments were wrong. The gentleman in question has apologised for them, and that remorse should be accepted.
Stephen Flynn.
This is complete rubbish. The gentleman in question apologised for being rude. He wasn't rude, he was racist, he was odious, and he was downright bloody dangerous.
Let's talk now to Mohamed Amersi, businessman and Conservative donor. He's actually donated over £500,000 to the Conservative Party since 2018. Mr Amersi, thanks so much for joining us on the show tonight. Will you be giving any more money to the Conservative Party?
Not for now. I'm holding the chequebook back because there are lots of problems that the CCHQ has to, first of all, sort out before I open my chequebook.
Do you think that how do you think the Prime Minister has dealt with this over the past few days?
So I think it's been an absolute disgrace. But before that, let me just say one thing. I have lived in this country for a long time. I went to school here, went to university here, had jobs here. I had never, ever saw any form of racism until the Conservative Party and the CCHQ. That was my first experience of institutionalized racism. And it's so sad to see the party behave in this way. I think that Rishi fudged the issue He should have taken it head on in the beginning. We should not have had to wait till Kemi Badenoch to say and call out racism. It was racist. And my deep question is, do the spots on a leopard ever change? Is it enough for somebody to say, even if it's not an apology, that I apologize? Does that really mean that the spots of a leopard have changed? I think that there are fundamental structural issues in the party. I think that the treasurers have overstayed their time in the party. I think they need to resign. I think fresh people have to come. And then I go back to my first point, which is that we need to cap donations. We cannot allow political processes to be hijacked by the richest, and they then call the shots. And here in Washington, I was asking myself, I faced a similar issue, which I still continue to face. Nobody in the party ever came to my rescue. Why? Is it because I'm non-white? Is the attention given to Hester because he's a male white donor? Or is it because of 10 million pounds? Or is it because of his unrivaled access on AI to Rishi Sunak? Or is it because Sunak took a helicopter ride paid by him? I have no idea.
Do you think, Mr Amersi, do you think that the party has a problem with racism more generally? And do you think in particular it has a problem with Muslims?
I think on both counts, yes. And again, now I talk from experience. When I first became a donor, I had no idea that this is how it would turn out. But sadly, it is this way. And this has to change. I love the Conservative Party. I want them to reinstate the values and principles that made this country so great in the eyes of the world. Sadly, it is letting us down.
And you think that they should give the money back, 10 million?
I absolutely feel that the money should be given back because it's a matter of principle. It's not about, otherwise you say, if it's, I got my 100,000 back because Boris Johnson's breakfast that I had paid for in an auction didn't materialize. I had to fight for it, but I got it back. And so there is no reason why they should not pay the 10 million back.
He didn't turn up for breakfast. You paid for breakfast with Boris Johnson, you didn't get it.
I didn't get it, no.
Oh dear, oh dear.